Let me explain for you the difference between ID selectors and CSS selectors. The simple concept behind the difference between these two types of selectors is that the ID is used for something unique and specific, while the classes are used to style multiple elements, which has something in common. So as you see, we have one blue ladybug. That's why it makes sense to give it an ID, because it's unique and specific, it's one. Meanwhile, we have multiple, like 200, 300 or 1000 red ladybugs. That's why it makes sense to give it the class red. So let's get to the live example. Let's assume we have 3 divs. The first div, let's make it a circle and let's do 4 circles. So these are empty divs, that's why we are seeing nothing. So if we add something, as you see, we are seeing what's written there. But let's keep it empty, go to the styles. As you see, I already prepared the class circle. And let's give this class a width 100 pixels and height 100 pixels. Now it's appearing and now it's already having width and height, but it still needs background color. So let's give it the background color black. As you see, it's a rectangle. So to make a circle, we need just like to make the border radius 50%. Then as you are seeing now, we have 4 circles. Let's just add some margin bottom. Let's say 20 pixels. Okay, let me just make the circles a bit bigger. It's nicer like that. So now what if I want to have one blue circle? It makes sense to give it an ID. So let's say the circle which has the ID blue should have the background color blue. Now all we need to do is to add this ID. Let's choose the third one, this one, give it ID blue. Then you will see it became blue. It's 1. That's why it makes sense to give it an ID. Although let's prepare the class red or continue. So class red is basically making the background color red. Now this class could be used for multiple elements. So what we could do is we could decide that we want the first 2 circles red. So all you need to do is to grab the class red and give it to the first 2 divs. And as you see, we have 2 red circles, 1 standard circle which is black here, and 1 having the ID blue. Whenever you want to have 1 more blue circle, don't just copy paste it. I mean, it would work, but don't do that. It's not a good practice because it lost the sense behind it. The sense of ID is to be unique. So it would work, but it doesn't make sense because now you have 2 divs with the same ID and the ID should be specific, should be unique. So that's why if you want to have 2 blue circles, what I would do is change the ID into class, and you want to be sure that you're adding the blue class here and removing the IDs. We don't need them anymore. Let's keep this one, okay, and make this circle bigger, a bit bigger. So let's give it an ID bigger. Then we go there, we call this bigger ID, and then we give it a width, let's say 300 pixels. As you see, it's not a circle anymore, it's a sphere. That's because it's still getting the height from the circle class, although it's overwriting the old width with a new width, which is 300 pixels. And by having that said, I hope you understood the difference between class selectors and ID selectors. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to learn the newest concepts in web development and software engineer. Here's your Jad. See you in the next video.